If she had only been ugly, we would still.
Welcome to Dom Irrera live from the Laugh Factory. Got Sebastian on today, one of the best, may I say. Not to embarrass this man. Every time I see you get better. You know what you got now? A swagger.
Got a swagger?
You got a swagger. I noticed it the other night. You used to come on, and as you developed, you got better and better. You were always good, but now you got like this. You come on like this. Okay, anyway, you want it? You went on after Dane or somebody strong. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that just comes with time, I don't know. Talent,
The
time.
gift.
But thank you for all those compliments coming from you. It's means a lot, and yeah, this is going to be interesting because, like you just said, I don't think we've ever spoken for more than 5 to 7.5 minutes at once. So
Just like a short spot.
short in and outs.
Well, I got a lot of things to ask you. Can I tell? I don't mean to be redundant, but
No.
I was a waiter in New York. I was terrible. I ended up parking cars. Last job I had was parking cars before I worked stand-up. Sebastian, I think it was the last job he had, worked the Four Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I go in there one night. Tell me if I'm not misquoting or anything. Basically, you told me, I think you do my work and my art, my gift, what I do.
Your gift.
My special thing that I bring to the table. And you said you wanted to be a comedian. And I don't know what else you said, but I remember that. And I remember thinking, always give somebody a chance. But boy, kid, if you know how tough it is. Cut to a couple years later, Sebastian's around, getting spots, killing all. I never even seen him bad. I've never even seen you develop. All of a sudden, I mean, when you were at Four Seasons, were you doing stand-up somewhere?
Yeah, I was doing stand-up and waiting table. So when you had come in, I think you had come in with Bruce Hills.
Right, from Montreal.
From Montreal, and you sat down in the front room, and I'm like, oh man, I got Dom Irrera. And I'm not a guy who barks up comedians' trees or producers. I'm not that guy. Hey, can you give me a spot? But I was dying to get into Montreal.
So you knew Bruce was from Montreal?
I knew who you were with,
Yeah.
and I'm like, let me just strike up a conversation with these guys, see where it goes or whatnot. So I was doing comedy at night. I had like the day shift there. I would come in at 2:30, leave at 8.
Oh, that was early, yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't know, because didn't you work the night that guy?
Yeah. Well, sometimes I got thrown
But
on
that
that
was
night
great.
shift. Yeah.
Because I won't say his name because too many people know him. Big fucking mouth, big bragger, buying Opus One, this expensive wine by the Magnum, right?
Yeah.
It was like $400 a Magnum, something
Yeah.
like that.
This is pretty expensive.
So he's bragging about how much it costs. And I know that I knew him a little bit. I liked him. I thought, good, I'll get the waiter a great tip. So I said, why don't you get two of them? And Bruce Hills goes, Dom, don't let him waste that. I go, it's not going to go to waste. Fuck him. Wants to brag, let him spend $800.
No, he dropped some money there, and thanks for egging him on.
Yeah.
But you guys, he wanted the seat outside. And
Oh, yeah, and then he was calling those people. He's so rich and drunk. He was going, are you people going to fuck tonight?
Yeah.
And they go, what? And then he brings him a bottle of champagne. They kind of ease the pain. Hey, they could be bought.
Yeah, he actually gave me $100 to ask them if they would move. So what I did with the 100 is I bought them a round of drinks out of that 100.
Oh, that's cool.
And they kindly left, and you guys sat there, and yeah.
Oh, is that what happened? We sat there?
Yeah, you sat in
Yeah,
their
I
seat.
didn't.
And then I think he might have sent them some champagne or whatnot. But yeah, that was for 7 years of my life doing Four Seasons.
At least
the
you were at a good
lounge.
place.
No, I mean that job allowed me to really have the opportunity to not only pursue comedy but I was making a good living. I mean that's a pretty
Yeah.
good place to work.
Well, I would guess that not many comedians make that living. If you
Mm.
consider like all the middle acts and MCs together.
No, I never did the middle acts. I never did the MC. I never went on the road.
How did you do it then? You were just
It was just
good?
here. It was just here and coming to factory, coming to store and all these little coffee houses that
Yeah,
had
yeah.
comedy. So I would
But
just
that's amazing. I mean, I did the same thing, but it was a different time.
Mhm.
First of all, when I started in the early '80s, there weren't as many comedy clubs around, so you pretty much had to develop there.
Mhm.
I mean, there were still middle acts, but I waited until I could close. But out here, at the time you did it with the numbers, that's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. It just allowed me to kind of develop in my own little way. I mean, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, L.A. doesn't have the amount of clubs that a lot of places in like a Chicago or New York has." But I don't know. For some reason, I didn't know any better. I didn't know
Good, you
any
didn't
better.
even know how tough it was.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just thought you just come out here
Yeah.
and you practice. That's all. So
I know. When I moved to New York, I didn't know what to think, so I tried to be like positive. I remember driving into New York. As soon as I got into the city, I hit a cab. Right? I hit a cab. For like within 2 minutes, I'm out of the Lincoln Tunnel. Boom. Guy looks at me, goes, just like fuck it, it ain't worth it. Right? And Sir Duke was on from Songs in the Key of Life. Stevie Wonder. Da, 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 da. I'm listening to that, and they told me 98% of the people in SAG don't work, and I thought, man, how cool is it going to be part of that 2%?
mm.
I guess you have to think like that, you know.
Yeah, well,
What are you going to think? Oh, it's going to be nice to be part of the 98% who don't work.
yeah, well, I don't know. You have to shoot for higher goals,
Yeah,
and that's and sometimes not knowing is better than knowing.
yeah. If you knew all the obstacles in hell.
I mean, look at here. Today, Tuesday, you got, as I was walking up, the guys are sitting outside.
I know. This is when I always, every time I'm here on the Tuesday, I think of that. Bill Burr sat outside.
Yeah, no, I sat outside.
Did you really?
Yeah, I sat outside, and then I did the audition. I think it was the Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. You had an older gentleman here that announced you to come on stage. I
Yeah,
forget
yeah.
his name. And I went and I met Jamie upstairs, and he didn't want to shake my hand. I didn't know what.
He didn't want to shake your
No, he said he had some like germ thing.
hand? Really?
That's what they said. They told me
Well, I was
don't.
surprised you shook my hand when you came in.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised too. I do have a towelette that I have to wash my hands with.
It was my right hand. I haven't touched my face with it.
But yeah, I met him, and he had asked me why I was so angry. Because when I first started, I was very angry, and there was no, I don't know if you went through that stage when you first started out. You didn't know who you were on stage.
Totally.
And I was very angry, and it wasn't likable. And he didn't pass me, which I didn't expect to get passed, but it was good,
Did he see any potential in you, or did you have to go somewhere else?
Yeah, he saw potential, but not enough to give me spots. So I wrote this place off. I said, forget it. Sometimes
So you got this place basically because you were already hit at the comedy
Yeah,
store.
yeah, I think so. I don't even know how I got reintroduced back here, but I'm glad I got back into here, and this totally different audience here, I think, than at the Comedy Store.
I'm not taking credit for anything, but honestly, I remember telling him how good you were. That doesn't mean I got you in here, but I do remember.
No, well, I appreciate it.
Because I couldn't believe how. See, I just couldn't believe how good you were. Don't forget, look at it from my perspective. I don't know your history. I don't know what you're doing. I know it's a waiter who came up and told me he wants to be a stand-up. All of a sudden, I see him on stage. He's got a fucking act. He's really good. Like, who is this fucking guy? And it's only one name, like Scherer and Plato and Aristotle.
Well, that wasn't it. Listen, I don't know. I mean, you're Italian. You could probably pronounce the longer Italian names, but there's a lot of people that just can't grasp Maniscalco, so I would just cut it to Sebastian.
No, it's smart.
And people are like, "What do you think you are, Fabio?" And I'm like, it's just nobody knows how to pronounce it.
I don't think I'm Fabio. I just think I don't feel like going through the fucking song and dance with my name.
Yeah. So
Black chicks have the worst trouble with my name.
black.
Mr. Irene.
Yeah.
You get that? What do you get, Mr. Masculinity?
The first name they can't even get. It's
Sebastian?
Sebastian. I swear to God, the
Really?
guy that delivered an envelope today to the house. It was a messenger guy. Sebastian. So yeah, that's funny. Black people have a trouble with the Italian names.
Yeah.
They do.
They're afraid of us.
They're afraid.
It's funny because where I came from, the only guys that weren't afraid of the black kids were the Italian kids. I
Is that
lived
right?
in New York and when I lived in Philly, as far as like bravado in the streets.
Well, did you grow up in a suburb?
No, that's what fucking kills me about this urban comedy shit. What the fuck am I? I lived at 49th Street. I lived in South Philly and West Philly.
And I don't really familiar with that area. Is it?
Well, you
is it-
couldn't get more urban. You can't get more urban. The only thing more urban would be Wall Street, just all cement. We didn't have any parks or anything. We had to walk through dangerous neighborhoods to go to a park. It was like a tough neighborhood. It doesn't make me tough, but the neighborhood was brutal.
And it was an Italian community, or you were?
No, I lived in an Italian community in South Philly, That was all Italian. Then we moved to West Philly, and it went from half and half to quickly 90% black.
Hmm.
You know.
And are your parents off the boat, or were they born here?
No, they came the second generation.
Okay.
All my grandparents came from Italy. One from Sicily, three from Italy. How about you?
My father's from Sicily. My mother was born here. So we grew up in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, which is just,
Is that city too?
I'm sorry?
Is that like city?
It's
Or
like
is it suburb?
growing up in Westlake, almost like Westlake Village. If you've been out
Oh,
up
okay.
north, not
Oh.
not that. That's really nice, but it's just a suburb. You know, not really Italian.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's some parts in Chicago
Generic American?
yeah, just a lot of it was
Yeah.
like a potpourri of nationalities in the neighborhood. But I gravitated towards Greek and Italian guys.
To hang out with.
Yeah.
Colleen, you know Colleen McGar?
No.
She was talking about the bit you have about your father. Was it a garage sale?
Garage sale, yeah.
Oh.
Just like we just threw the garbage out on the
Right, right.
and when we broke the items, and when we threw them out, we broke them because my father didn't want anybody stealing the items. Yeah. I don't know. Now I'm getting more into the father and the upbringing.
Oh
Than,
yeah, the material.
Yeah, than
It's
I was
interesting
ever
what comes
before.
up, isn't it? I just think it's part of what makes me laugh when you're on is still thinking about what I had said right before I went on. You know, some of my act. No, I'm kidding. What makes me laugh honestly is the fucking commitment to anything. Like your commitment is 100%, whether it's about Whole Foods, whatever it is, in that fucking look, and
Yeah.
when you get physical, man, it's very funny.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I lost a lot of that just out of laziness.
Mhm.
When I remember to do it, I forget you can elevate your performance. You know.
You got physical for a
He's
while.
Very physical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm so fucking old and fat. I like point to places I would have been. And then I would have moved over here.
Yeah. Well, as you get older, it's just a little harder to move on stage. I mean, I'm not saying that I can't move, but as you get older,
Yeah.
You're not gonna be flopping around
Like
on the
Dane.
floor. I mean,
Yeah, Dane used to just fall around and.
but Dane he still looks young. I mean, it's like he still could get away with a lot of
Yeah.
physical humor. I'm not saying when 65, 70-year-old guy falling on the floor. I mean, is that?
Well, it's sad because I did a thing one time with one of those groups, Hollywood's Gone Swinging. Remember that group? Hollywood's Gone Swing. Cool in the Gang.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember working with them for a New Year's Eve thing. No, not New Year's Eve, Super Bowl. And I remember saying, they can get down, but they just can't get up. Because that's what they would do. They would like getting down, whoa! And then they go like getting up real like, oh, my back. It takes away a lot.
Yeah. No, it's. I don't know. With the physical thing, I think it adds to the performance. I mean, a lot of purist comedians, I don't know. They tend to like, that's that's cheating, but they
That's
tend
not
to
cheating.
they tend to look at like if you're falling on the floor, it's like pratfalls or you're not writing or whatnot. I don't know. I just always thought people would just enjoy something to look at. No.
I just think anything that's funny is worthwhile. I mean, not to sell out, but I love Bob Marley.
Oh, love Bob Marley.
Yeah, but I mean, well, yeah, we were in Bermuda with him. He's so fucking silly. Remember when he was like running around stage and looking at us backstage?
Yeah.
That he kills me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't even know. I couldn't do one of his bits, but I just think he's funny.
Yeah.
No, I like that whole thing, that pretentiousness of the monologist. That's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I just always think whatever's funny, whatever I'm laughing at is just funny regardless. Whatever you're doing up here, if you're making me laugh,
Yeah.
it's funny.
Right. I mean, Eddie Murphy was the one who who opened it up for guys like me when I started, because the comic strip was purely like Seinfeld and these other guys who were like Seinfeld, monologists, and hey, what are these people? Oh, and Jerry even said to me once, he goes, man, I feel like I'm not even performing when I see you. Not that I think he's better by any stretch, but he's just physically.
Yeah.
And Eddie Murphy did characters and stuff. And then the guy who owned the comic strip was managing Eddie, and all of a sudden characters were in, and movement was in, because before that it was like,
Just
What
yeah.
are you guys doing? Talking heads, you know.
So, do you think comedy, in your eyes, now and back then in the '80s, do you think the talent pool is it better now? Comedians, is it where are we headed?
Well, I think that what happened was I think any art goes in waves, not to be pretentious about it. And I think there was a wave and then a crash, and now it's really up again. So the guys, like your group of guys, are really, really good. You know, like I'm saying, the guys around your age, like Bill Burr and Tosh and you and uh, there's Dove and even Callan, and even
Mm-hmm.
though he's not a pure stand-up, he's so fucking funny and silly.
Mm-hmm.
I consider so. Yeah, I mean, to answer to your question, I think this group is great,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't like 8 years ago at the Comedy Store. Talk about a dearth of fucking talent. Me and Paulie were the only ones, and I hate to use the sentence. Me and Paulie, we were the only ones doing a TV.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
it was dire there for a while.
So when you first went there,
I got there in '99,
oh, okay.
right in the beginning of '99, and looking back at some of the lineups, I just took off the thing. It was like, I mean, if it
Oh,
was pretty bad.
yeah, yeah. That
Um,
one woman, I don't want to name her name, but she was like a beauty queen or something. And do you remember her? Like a
no.
full, not a funny. I don't want to say her name because God forbid, I don't want to hurt her feelings. But not even and by accident did she say something funny. Josiah, who does, who works on the text side of this,
Yeah.
he said to me, he's from West Virginia, and I met a girl from West Virginia a couple weeks ago, fucking gorgeous, a fitness model.
Oh.
She wants to be a comedian, right? I said, "Oh, really? You're just trying to talk." I said, "Were you always funny?" She goes, "Not really." I said, "Well, you're funny with your friends?" She goes, "No, no." She said, "I'm just silly." It's like, "Well, there's a good basis for being a comedian." Person, weren't you funny with your friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking A. You better be like the. I was the funniest kid in fucking every high school or whenever college I went to. I mean, you don't just start being funny.
Were you funny around strangers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you?
No, I
Yeah.
was shy. The group I hung with, funny, but like around other people, because I noticed like you hang out before your sets and whatnot, and you notice like you could talk to anybody. You seem like the type of guy you could sit down, you could start talking, you could start cracking jokes or funny stories. But I was never that guy. I was always the guy who kind of just sat and listened and had a conversation in my head with myself sometimes. So there's different types, I think, of
Oh
comedians.
yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. We definitely come from two different places, but
Hmm.
hopefully the results are the same.
Yeah.
But when you're upstairs, are you comfortable with this group? Did it
Some.
take you a while to break in?
Yeah, I was. It always takes a while for me to warm up to people. It's just always been
Huh.
that way. And some people look at it as standoffish. It takes a while for me to kind of fit into a group. Um,
No, I never felt that you were. I always felt that you were shy, but you know your work didn't matter. Didn't reflect in your work.
mhm.
You can't be a really great shy comedian. Oh, geez. Excuse me when I say this. Hey,
I'm bashful.
the
Um,
bashful comic.
yeah, it just takes me a while to warm up to people. That's all. And I don't talk too much. That's just who I am.
I just judge a person by the color of his skin.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
always
it's
that's
that
always
stupid.
good.
I mean, I wrote that joke about, not that it's so fucking brilliant, but it's right there, you know. And I just, you say something and you realize how. I mean, like, we have such this audience here. It's so multi-ethnic, religions, everything. It's unbelievable. Uh, and when they laughed, and I see black people wave, but you could see everybody from here. Because the joke was, I judge a person by the color of his skin. Once I see his skin, that's all I need to know. I need to talk. I don't need to understand anything, you know. And it gets a laugh. Like it's so fucking simple.
Yeah. Do you tend to see that the racial humor now? I think a little people are a little uptight when you talk race now than you did maybe. I don't know.
Well, they're more uptight when white guys talk it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they have a certain sympathy towards black people. I don't mean to make black people sound pathetic, but there's a guilt from the slavery and the history like which you and I, by the way, have nothing to fucking do with.
Mhm.
Well, that doesn't mean we can't have compassion for people. But when did your family come over here?
50 years ago.
Okay, so more recent than mine, but I'm older than you.
Yeah.
But so, who was born in Italy?
My father. My father was born in Sicily, and they came when he was 15 years old, and we recently went back last year.
So you have more to do with the slavery in Rome.
Yeah,
than you
Rome
do
slaves.
Yeah, Roman slaves. But I mean, I do feel that they have a tendency to be very um, forgiving and giving to black comedians because I think there's a subconscious guilt there. You know, and I'm not to say black comedians aren't good. They're good and bad just like everybody else.
Yeah. But I heard you're doing your joke last night that it's one of your classic bits about you go through all the fighting nationalities of how people fight.
Yeah.
And, to me, that's like you're making fun of every nationality.
Right.
And I tend to see people, for whatever the reason, not necessarily blacks, but when you start talking, let's say there's a Middle Eastern guy here, people, you could feel the room get a little like, ooh, what's he going to say about the thing? I don't.
But I've had other people on the other side of it go, how come you didn't make fun of Puerto Ricans?
Oh,
You know, like they feel left out. I mean, I was with Russell Peters at Long Beach Laugh Factory, and his fucking crowd is like Laotians, Cambodians, Pakistanis, like everything in Europe. I mean, in Asia. And some girl stand up. She goes, "What about the Armenians?" Like she felt neglected.
Yeah, but I think they're coming there for that specific reason.
Yeah, for Russell they are, yeah.
But if you're just a comedian up here doing your thing and you decide to point somebody's ethnicity out in the room, I feel it gets a little tense, and I don't know if it was that tense 15 years ago. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel it. Maybe it's just the way I'm presenting it.
No, I think things have gotten looser, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Because racial stuff was pretty much only done by black guys. I mean, their stock jokes were, the biggest one was, well, if you're here, at least you know I ain't robbing your TV. That's kind of, like that kind of shit, that stereotypical thing. But white guys didn't really slam that, Like, I think it's funny when they get so specific. Like, I was at the Hard Rock in Hollywood, and they said, do whatever you want, just don't say anything bad about the Seminole Indians. I go, well, being from Philly, I have like 15, 20 minutes on the Seminoles. What the fuck do I? So you know what I did? I went the other way. I just said, I got to say, they asked me not to say anything about the Seminole Indians. I take umbrage to that. I love the Seminole Indians. They're the best tribe. I came from a Seminole neighborhood. So you know who I don't like is the Blackfoot, the Pawnee, the fucking Cheyenne can go fuck. The Sioux can blow me.
That's funny.
But then they couldn't nail me on the Seminole thing.
That's funny.
What's your favorite place to do stand-up?
I like L.A. I like these clubs in the outlying areas here. I feel like I could really work on my stuff here that I can't work on, let's say, in Denver.
Yeah. Do you do Comedy Magic?
Comedy Magic, yes.
What do you want to plug? This is on in about 4 weeks.
In 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Well, me and Pete Corielli have a podcast.
Oh, good.
We call it a show. Because I don't know exactly how you do your podcast, if there's a lot of editing involved and whatnot, but...
Is there a lot of editing? Josiah?
Like what we're doing now, would that be on your podcast?
Not necessarily. It might be trimmed off.
Because what we do is... Anyway, we have this show. And we do these bits, and it's produced, and its music is added. It's almost like a radio show, and just that's kind of the direction we took with the show.
What's the name of it?
It's called the Pete and Sebastian Show.
Okay.
So yeah, that's on iTunes, and nowadays, I saw everybody doing this podcasting stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like,
People love it though.
Yeah, they love it.
They like to listen to it in the cars and stuff. Has yours got video?
No video. It's just the audio.
I like video because I look so good.
Well, yeah. I mean,
when you
obviously.
work out like I do, and you want to stay in this kind of shape.
You want to show that off.
I do.
I have to apologize for the way I'm dressed today. This is almost like
I
pajamas
have
for me.
never seen your hair not perfect
I know
until today.
it's terrible. I just been bouncing around town, and I didn't have
What
the
do you want
time
out
to.
of this, Sebastian? What do you want out of this whole thing?
What, this podcast?
No. Okay. What do you think? What are your hopes and dreams about this podcast?
When I first got into this business, I said I want to do comedy for a living. Anything other than that is gravy to me.
Yeah.
I never wanted my own TV show. I never. You know, we were talking about Saturday Night Live the other night. Did you ever want to be on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, but I was an improv actor, so it's different. I
Okay.
came out of improv. I became a stand-up because of Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Because I got hired for 3 shows, and then I got fired when a new producer came in, and I thought, these fucking stand-ups, they're like little celebrities in town, in New York in those days. Gilbert Gottfried, Episcopo, and those guys, they were like all well-known. Belzer. I thought, fuck, I want to be like them.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the first time I made $1,000 a week. I go, fucking $1,000. I was married. I go, what do we need more than $1,000 for? Isn't that funny? How
That's
relative
wild.
it is.
Yeah. And that's all I wanted to do was do stand up. So I'm doing that, and you know, if I get a TV show and other things come my way, fantastic. But yeah, I enjoy this connection with people.
Well, you know, the only thing that you got to do is just get more and more somehow. Maybe it's your podcast or whatever. Just more exposure. That's where TV comes in.
Yeah.
But even now, it's like Rogan's podcast gives me more exposure than fucking TV.
Oh, I bet. I mean that
You know.
that's reaching tons of people. So
Yeah.
you go on there, and I'm sure you go on the next day and you look at your whatever your followers or whatnot.
You know what? You have to show me how to follow you. By the way,
We have been going through this.
Well, can you not be cruel? Can you understand? Can you be understanding? Can you have a little compassion for somebody who's challenged? He said that he tweeted me, and I
Yeah.
didn't tweet him back.
Which is
Do you know how retarded-
it is ridiculous. Just hearing that sounds weird, doesn't
Okay.
it?
Well, then you know what? Just
No, it sounds weird that's what we're doing now.
yeah. Well, you know what? The weirdest thing for me is seeing like 4 people sitting there, you know, grown-ups, you know, on their cell phones, not talking to each other at dinner. That's a little fucking rude.
It's weird.
You mean to tell me I mean so little to you that you'd rather just like chat with somebody in the universe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always something interesting other than what's happening at the moment. That's how it's working.
Yeah,
today.
yeah. This is how bad I am, and I've gotten better because I got my 19-year-old goddaughter living with me. That helps. 24-hour tech, you know. Chris DeLeo, I said to him one night, I go, because he would ask me the same thing. Did you get my thing? He didn't answer me back. I said, Chris, when you Google me, how do I Google you back? He goes, that's not even a question. So.
Yeah, no, I've reached out a couple of times on that Twitter, and I didn't know if you had somebody
I've never
working
seen it. No, I do have somebody doing my Facebook, but I've never seen that
Yeah.
reached out.
So I hey, what's up, Dom? I don't know what I said. It was stupid.
It's not.
But
It's heartwarming.
it's heartwarming. But I just like, let's see, and then nothing. And then I got your number. We exchanged number. I got your number, and then I reached out through the number. Then I found out that you told me at the comedy store. I don't use that number anymore.
Oh, really?
There's an obscure number that I have on you that
Jeez.
apparently is.
I don't know why. You should go straight to the top. You should go right to one of my top. No, because I have. See, what I have is it's a trail of women. That's what it is. I had one that I used to keep for babes. I had one that was my girlfriend who I lived with. One who was the girlfriend I lived with and loved. And I got her number. So I got like 6 phones.
When you come out though, like now, you have one phone on you.
Yeah, but tomorrow when I fly, I'll have at least 2, maybe 3.
Isn't that hard to just keep track of 3 phones and you checking all 3? I mean,
I don't check one of them. But yeah, here's the thing. I used to lose a cell phone a week, like a fucking idiot. So I decided that I was always going to have at least 2 cell phones on me because most of the time, if I call it, then I'll find it. It's stuck in the seat in the plane somewhere. It's in the jacket in the front. So.
Would you consider yourself organized?
No. Does it sound like I'm organized?
I'm trying to
Do you
find
know
out.
That you and I would be like Felix and Oscar living together? You're so fucking meticulous. You're very organized, right?
I just like things in their place.
Well, that's organized. You're just saying it. Feng shui, my friend.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but I'm like if I went to your apartment,
I can
right?
feel the germs from your hand, by the way.
It's not even germs. It's more like tidy. Like if you came to my car right now and you got in the front seat, I wouldn't have to move anything out of the front
See,
seat to get you to sit down.
I know. I tend to have plastic water bottles building up.
Oh, so you're just whatever you're just throwing
Nah,
it.
yeah, but not all the time. But Julianne, you know her, the waitress?
Mm-hmm.
You go in her truck, all you hear is crunch, crunch. I'm sorry about that. She goes, crunch, you know. She's worse than me.
Wow.
But it does say something about a person and their self-concept and what they're like, about the turmoil. I mean, the fact that maybe that's probably why you progressed so quickly, because you not only did you have a talent, but you were organized. You know, you knew how to organize material.
Maybe I don't know. It's just I don't know how I became. I don't know. I would go over to people's houses and I would go, wow. I don't know because my parents were like, pick up the
Yeah,
fucking
my
pants.
family was very clean.
So I think that rubbed off on me a lot. I'm just flabbergasted on how a lot of people. Not that being disorganized is a negative. It's just I myself when I get into this when people come to pick me up for radio in the morning
And
and
you
I
have
got
to get in a
in their
sloppy
car. And if you're a slob, generally fine. But if you got somebody coming into your car and you know sweep the ash off the
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I don't know.
No, it's rude. It's
You're going, yeah, I don't see a problem with
no,
that.
I do. I do. Well, you know what happens with me? If I let one thing go, it's gone, like the whole thing. Me and Jenna, my goddaughter, we have a thing there. We put every dish in the dishwasher, because once it starts,
Mm-hmm.
once one's in that fucking sink, in 2 days there's like half-eaten shit all over.
Yeah.
But if the one doesn't start, then we can be organized and
Yeah.
clean.
That's a good way to look at it.
But then the maid's coming. When I know I got 2 days for the maid, then I fucking just go crazy.
Yeah. When the maid, see, that's another thing. The
And
maid.
she tells me that she wants to work harder because of the money I pay her. She goes, Mr. Dom, you know, you pay me good money. You know, I don't know what accent I'm doing, but just trust me. She sounds exactly like that.
She's bitching that there's not enough to clean.
Yes, she bitches sometimes. It's not because I don't. I want to give her a regular job, but sometimes, like this week, I'm only home for 2 nights. Last night and tonight. You know, I'm going back to the East Coast. So how dirty could I get it?
Did your mother have a maid?
Fuck no. My mother was a maid.
Yeah, that's.
My mother she worked and she cleaned the house. And my mother, I swear to God, it sounds like a bit. When I would get her a hotel room in New York, when I started making some money, I wanted to come up to see a show. She would clean the room before the maid came because she was embarrassed that the maid would think we were sloppy.
Yeah.
Your mother too?
Not quite that bad, but I get that mentality.
Yeah.
Where now everybody's got a maid. And growing up, nobody had a maid.
Well,
We
is that
looked
in
at,
Chicago too? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you come out here,
Everybody.
somebody living in a 500 square foot studio apartment got a maid coming. It's
You
like,
know-
well, for what? There's nothing to clean.
I know. You know, it cracks me up the people with 2 nannies and 1 kid. They got more nannies than they got kids, and they talk about how hard it is raising a kid.
Oh,
and
I
they
know.
visit the kid. The kid has a visit like they're the Pope, an audience with the kid.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Everybody's got a maid. I think L.A. is the king of maids.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's got a maid out here.
The same people that bitch about like the Mexicans coming over the border and all have 5 Mexicans working for them
Yeah.
that are illegal aliens. If it wasn't for the Mexicans, the whole fucking town would crumble.
The whole town would be dusty.
Be a dirty town. Thank God. It is true though. I never even thought of that, but I love these people that have nannies for, and the husband. I know one. They put their baby in like almost like an incubator when it was like a couple months old, so that the husband could stay home and not work. It wasn't working. I mean, it's not my fucking business, but I can't help but observe it. And like even when they were like infants, they put them in like these bassinets because they're babies. So it wasn't even preschool. It's like pre-baby.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, did you know about any nannies growing up? I had nobody. I had
Only
never
from-
met a nanny.
Only from porn. Like I would hear like the nanny and the guy when the woman goes out to the that kind of.
That
I
was
mean,
your
I remember.
introduction of the nanny through
Yeah,
porn?
yeah, yeah. Pop bangs the babysitter, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, real nannies, no. I mean, I knew from exchange students and stuff like that, but I didn't. Danish nanny would come over, that kind of shit.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you ever let it interfere with you? Are you ritualistic? Do you have obsessive compulsive disorder at all?
No.
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 You don't count or anything?
There's no counting.
How about
There's
obsessing with washing your hands?
no. None of that. No washing. I mean, none of that type of stuff. It's just I like to be, if I know I'm going into an environment where it could be a little dirty, I like to have, like I travel with bleach pads or whatnot where I wipe down some
I
things.
thought of you yesterday. I swear to God, when I got on the plane and I put the air on, I thought of you dusting off that thing.
Yeah, just a little wipe. Just a little wipe on that. Or the telephone in the room, in the hotel room. I'll be
Yeah.
here and I'll take a swab. Did I swab that off?
Well, we don't have phone booths anymore, but when we have phone booths, I'm thinking of going into New York. There's this fucking drug dealer coughing in the phone. And then you go, hey, so you put it right back
Right
in
in
your
your
mouth.
mouth,
What would you?
yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't do that with a glass at a
No.
bar.
No, but we're doing it with phones in the room. Although I don't know who the hell is using the phone in the room. Like when you check into a hotel room, first of all, I didn't know why there's a phone in there anymore, unless you have to call down for a wake-up call.
Well, I get room service
Or
at least
room
3
service.
times a day. So
Are you a room service guy? So you set up, you get room service.
I wake up so that I don't miss, like, just like I don't eat a lot at once. I eat a lot of little meals. I like turkey sausage and oatmeal.
in the morning.
Yeah, go back to sleep.
Wow.
Go to radio, whatever. Lunch, then dinner.
Lunch is in the room too?
I mean, unless when I'm in a place like Columbus, where I got one, there's one girl I used to go out with. She was there. Saw her a little bit, but basically, I'd rather watch football or basketball, whatever's the sport of the season, whatever season's in, and just stay in. Go to the gym.
So you're like a homebody on the road. You don't like to kind of
Yeah, some people call it a recluse. Some people
yeah,
call
like
it
a Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes, right?
You just got the.
I gotta let my nails get long. How about you? You go like hiking and shit? Do you?
I don't hike, but I was getting real bored. Going to a room. I'm not a big TV guy, so I started renting a car on Hotwire. By the way, Hotwire's got the best deals on rent a car. About $55, $60 sometimes for the week. And I would go out, just like get up, go to a Starbucks, not near the hotel, just maybe drive around, find a nice health club or get a massage somewhere. Just get out because I get a little
No, it's healthy
too,
for you.
I can't stay inside.
You know what I like? Places that are inside but seem outside. You know the Hyatt at Cleveland. Your work
Oh
Hilarities?
yeah, Hilarities. Yeah.
Okay, so it was an old train station.
Mm-hmm.
So they got the hair salon, they got the gym, restaurants. But when it's fucking 5 degrees out, it's kind of nice to have that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
There's a club. You'd be good at that club. You've done that.
Oh, I love that club. It's my
Yeah,
favorite. One of my favorite clubs. The guy that runs it, Nick, is
Nick
just
Costas,
what
yeah.
a
I'll be there in May. When are you doing that?
3 weeks.
3 weeks from
Yeah,
now.
March.
Hopefully, you gotta go see him if you're in.
Yeah,
if
it's
you're in
Cleveland and March. Fort Lauderdale. Here's one. Fort Lauderdale at
Fort
the
Lauderdale
Improv.
Improv?
Yeah,
Great club.
love that club.
Yeah.
What's your top club? Top 3.
That one? Probably. That's tough. I would say maybe Tampa, Side Splitters, and where I just came from, the Funny Bone.
Oh,
in
Funny Bone.
Columbus.
Yeah.
They're 3 of the top 3. I mean, the kinds of, I don't want to leave anybody out, but they're 3 of the.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't say Philly because it's not fair. Like Helium in Philly and the Casino, the Tropicana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loaded there because it's my hometown.
Yeah.
So I got to leave them out of it.
But it's fun going back home. God,
It's fun, but I like going to Long Island. There's another place I fucking love, Long Island. Governor's and McGuire's and the Brokerage. You ever do those clubs?
I never did the Brokerage. I've done McGuire's and Is that
Governors is the big
Levittown
one.
and Bohemia?
Yeah, Levittown is Governors. Yeah,
Not
I'm there next week, so this will have already been on. But you know what's great about Long Island for me? It's like going like the same people from Philly, but without the comps. You know,
yeah.
I got one guy calling me up. He's bringing 58 people. He asked me if I would go out for waffles and ice cream with them. Now, you know, you feel so much pressure being a comedian that you're supposed to be funny. And I don't want waffles and ice cream. I want a fucking stripper and a Jack Daniels.
Do you go out though
Yeah.
with the people?
No, not generally. I mean, I'm not that. If they're friends, of course.
Yeah,
or-
friends. But are they at the end of the show? Don, we're gonna go grab a beer. You want to go? Do you generally go out with random people
No,
after the show?
no.
No.
You know
Have you
why?
done that ever?
Yeah. But I just feel that I get enough attention on stage, and I'm sure you're like this too. I don't once I'm off stage, I don't need more attention. I don't like being fawned over and telling even compliments. I'd rather just do my fucking little dance and enjoy it, and everybody has a good time. But no, because of that, because people change towards you. You know, people say like I had a friend whose wife was an emergency room nurse. Now I want to talk to her. I don't want to fucking hear me talk about me.
Mm-hmm.
They already know me, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'd rather just go home and call it a night rather than I don't. Do you think people think you're going to be the life of the party? If you,
Yes.
yeah,
Don't you?
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not that way at all.
No. No. I mean, like when I'm with my family, you'd never know that I'm the professional comedian. When I'm with my cousins and all, they're all fucking fun and loud. And if I say something funny, it's because I'm one of them. I'm not because, well, did you hear that? That was a professional comic.
Yeah, yeah,
That's out of our league, for the love of God. But yeah, I don't. That's why I don't want to go out like that. I'll go out with like the club boners or the other comedians sometimes. But then again, the other comedians, I don't know about you. Like now that you're going up the ladder, like they defer to you too much, and they're hitting on me for jobs that I can't fucking get them,
yeah.
and they think you got more power than you do. You know. You ever get people ask you for shit that you're thinking, what do you? I can't do that. You know, Sebastian, can't you help out your cousin Tony? Get him into the show business with you? What's he do? Nothing in particular. He's a good guy though. He's funny. He's funny at work.
Yeah, not necessarily from the family because the family knows how hard it is, this business. But, like you say, other comedians might ask you to get them work, which, I have no problem doing that. It's just sometimes I tell them, I said, listen, I'll put a word in, but the final decision is going to come from the person who owns the club or whatnot.
Well, the thing that really hurts me is I got guys my age, and I'm very lucky to be drawing still at my age. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't take anything for fucking granted. I'm lucky because I got people and college kids that come and say, if it wasn't for fucking college kids, I couldn't do Vinnie Brand's club in Rutgers,
Mm-hmm.
the Stress
So
Factory.
yeah.
But I do, and they come, but I got guys my age that are dead in the water. They peaked in the '80s, and they asked me for help, and I go, man, I would do anything for you, but if you can't draw, what can I do? I said, I can get you a job that's such a shit job that you'll lose money on it. You know what I mean? Because what they do is they pay guys that are from that city or young guys who don't care about breaking even right now, just want to get on stage.
Yeah.
They'll do the job. So I got some old pros who are, accomplished comedians that you can't get work for.
It's wild.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you have to, because you understand, like every 4 years, pretty much like as what a college time would be.
Yeah.
It changes.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be like somehow up with that crowd, whatever
Mhm.
crowd's coming in, whatever. And do you find like from now since you started, do you find audiences any different, or can't you tell because you've gotten better?
I think I found my audience. I notice when I go on the road, a certain type comes out to see my show.
Uh-huh.
Where here, it's L.A. and the people that are here probably don't know who I am, and it's just young and
See, that's why I like it, though. I like the challenge because you sit, four guys from Saudi Arabia were sitting here a couple weeks ago. When are they going to come and see me in fucking Atlantic City?
yeah.
I got Asian girls from UCLA, probably tested very well since they're Asian. But, like, I'm thinking if they laugh at my bullshit, this is going to be a breeze when I go to Boston.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I like the challenge, and I like the Comedy Store because it's more touristy. That's where the Comedy Store, you can really test your TV material there. Like if they're having like that Friday night original room, that's a good place to test it. The only thing I notice, and I don't, not to say it's out of pretension, but I think because of the iPhones and the kids have less information in their minds because they have it in their fingertips. You know what I mean? So they don't seem to be as well read as audiences were 10 years ago. Like if you go to Ireland, you've been to Ireland?
Never.
Fucking really well read, really smart. You make a Diogenes reference, you make a Lazarus reference, they get it. Here they're looking at you like, is he a singer? Is he a rapper? You know, like so. That's where I find you have to think about material. You know,
Excuse me, Diogenes. Let me look that up.
Diogenes. Diogenes was the guy who was he was in search of an honest man. That fable or.
Do you read a lot?
I used to. I mean, I'd rather, too lazy. Like, I'd rather watch Discovery and all that stuff. And
I mean, you're not knocking out books on the road between room service.
No, you know what happened to me was like, I was so addicted to reading as a kid. I read literally from sophomore year in high school till sophomore year in college. But I didn't have a car, and I was in Philly, and like I was subway, and I'd read like a fucking book every 2 days, and I got burnt out on it. You know, just like getting burnt out on anything. So now, like an idiot, I read the sports page, and I'll read certain things. But I just read that poem about Gunga Din, Rudyard Kipling. You ever hear that, Gunga Din?
No.
Oh, it's pretty cool. He said that at the end of it was, though I've beaten you and flayed you from the very God that made you, you're a better man than I am, Gunga Din. You never heard that?
No, but that's pretty impressive that you remembered the end of the poem.
Well, because I thought it was such good, such a cool way to put it.
Mm.
It was about a water boy who, just the bravest guy, had all the heart, gets shot, but if you ever, I mean, it's a movie that was made in the 40s, but it's a story based on Rudyard Kipling when the British ran India. I'm sorry for talking about this. I'm fucking going off. The hell kind of podcast is this? Poor Sebastian comes in, does me a favor. I've been working so hard to get him on the show. I'm fucking giving him this lecture about Indian British history.
Hey, you never know where it goes, man.
Yeah. What do you think about are you Catholic?
Yeah.
What do you think about the whole thing? Is it
The Pope?
everything? What do you? I mean, isn't it fucking depressing? You go to church?
No, I grew up in church. Every Sunday.
You were an altar boy?
Altar boy.
I was an altar boy. I got thrown out of the choir.
You did? You used to sing? Wow.
Yeah.
You were deep in there. No, I was grew up in the church, but I don't go to really church anymore. Not that I'm not. I don't know. I don't go anymore. I'm not super into the religion.
I still believe in God, and I believe that there's tremendous punishment waiting for us, tremendous beatings, and
Yeah.
But well, it's very. You can believe in the church, God, and not believe in the church. Church is really how they could hurt children like that is beyond fucking belief.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go on that are not good, but if you just live your life, and some of the teachings that, I am who I am today because I grew up Catholic, and the teachings of the Catholic religion has made me, I think, a good person, along with my parents being good parents. And
You are a good person. I've never heard anybody say, fucking Sebastian's bothering me again. You don't bother nobody.
I don't talk to anybody.
Well, you're talking to me.
Yeah, so I mean, don't you think that had a lasting effect on you just growing up in the Catholic Church?
I think it
Good
had
or
some,
bad?
both. Made me very neurotic about God and fear and the devil and going to hell and purgatory and limbo and well, that was the unfairest thing. Remember limbo?
I don't remember limbo. I
Okay,
remember
limbo.
purgatory, but
By the time you got to, you know, the age that I was taught limbo, it might have been gone.
Mhm.
But listen to this: how fucking horrible this thought was. If a baby died before they were baptized, they didn't do anything wrong, so they didn't go to hell. But they didn't do anything good, so they didn't go to heaven. They went to limbo.
wow, I never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's just like a big pot of water they would lay in, and that was.
And they got rid of that by the time.
I don't know. I never heard it
I had
before.
it.
I think it went out the same time meat would, but when you ate meat on Friday,
Friday?
would go, make you go to hell. One fucking cheeseburger, and I'm in here with you murderers, you cocksuckers.
Yeah, no, I think it has some good aspects to it. It teaches you. I mean, the fear element of trying to be a good person, or you're gonna go to hell. I mean, that could scare the hell out of a kid.
Yeah,
You know. But it makes you.
it
who
scared
you
the
are.
hell out of me.
Yeah.
I did this in my one-man show, but I got so neurotic at one point about sex and everything that when I was an altar boy, like say the tabernacle's there, I would point my dick that way, so I
Wow.
wasn't degrading or sacrilegious towards God by pointing my dick at God.
Wow.
How fucking
Yeah,
sick is that?
that's some deep. That's deep.
But I didn't want to be rude, you know, so I'd be like twisted.
Mm.
What's the matter with that kid? He's all twisted. Don't ask. Do you
Yeah.
pray?
I used to. I pray when I need to, but I used to pray every night. But I pray now when illness strikes the family, or just talking to God that way. But I used to have a set prayer. I used to go down the list
Really?
of God, make my mother, my father, my sister, myself, everybody have great health. I thought if I were to forget somebody out of my prayer, if I forgot to get my sister would pass away at night.
Oh boy. See, that's what I mean. That's the crazy shit. I pray for material things, Cadillacs,
Vogue tires.
Merc, baby sealskin coats. Yeah, I pray. The only prayer I say about stand-up is I just ask God to give me whatever talent He gave me. Just let me do that. I'm not
Mhm.
asking to be the greatest or anything. Just that's about the only prayer I say. As far as for anything for myself, I
Yeah.
don't ever ask for stuff. But of course, you want people that you love to be healthy. I pray that my cousin Barbara gets the worst sore throat this week, but that gets better and appreciates a good throat.
Yeah, health for me I think that's my biggest fear is dying young. That's my biggest fear. So I always used
See, I don't
pray
have to
for
worry about that.
I just been a hypochondriac for years and always think.
So when you really get sick, is it like fulfilled? See, I knew I was sick.
No, I don't know, man.
What happens when you get a fever? Do you get worried?
No, not necessarily fever, but
See, I
it's just.
do. I think it's going to just keep getting hotter.
Oh, really?
Just like I think about the earth, about the heating of the earth.
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I've always feared a disease or whatnot would strike and
that nobody knows
yeah,
about.
like oh my God, you got that. And plus, with the internet, drives you nuts,
A disease that just makes your neck limp, so your head
Yeah,
just.
you got that. You got that.
Oh boy.
So, but other than that, life is good, man. Other than thinking I'm gonna die, everything's great.
Other than the morbid, when I wake up this morning, I thought, well, there's one less day I have to live. Well,
Yeah.
you're an interesting cat, man. And so, you got anything else to plug? While we're on?
What do I got to plug? Oh I just touring all year in my podcast.
How about like the next, like starting in April?
April's is I start at the Improv and doing Zanies in June. I'm doing
Zany's in Chicago?
Zanies in Rosemont, the new one.
Oh, okay.
And
Now, can you still work for Jamie and do that?
yeah, Jamie's been cool.
Yeah,
You
he's
know.
good. He's good like that.
I'm loyal. I'm a loyal guy. If you give me a shot, I normally stay with the people that gave me
Yeah.
a shot. Like Bobby Jewell in Tampa. You know, he's got a lot of guys jump ship and they go to improv or
Yeah,
whatnot.
and then they come back with their tail between their legs.
Yeah, I just he always gave me a shot there,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna always go back to him regardless of, you know. Same thing with Zany. Same thing with Hilarities.
Yeah.
I'm just a loyal guy that way.
I'm working for Brad Garrett's club in April, which should be fun. I love working with him. You ever see him MC?
I've seen him perform in Montreal. I thought it was hysterical.
He's such a great MC because he doesn't apologize. He's like fucking Don Rickles without the song and the apology at the end. He's just fucking brutal, but he makes me laugh. I'm working there, and like I said, Hilarities. What else is coming up? Sag Harbor in July.
Where's that?
It's in the Hamptons.
Is that a club there?
It's a theater,
Nice.
little theater. Do you like doing theaters?
I'm not a big theater guy. I like the clubs.
Yeah, I like the clubs too.
The only theater I really do is at Wilbur Theater in Boston, just
Oh, yeah?
because there's not a comedy club there.
Well, Mike Clark has one in Saugus.
Oh, he does?
Giggles, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Wilbur. It's intimate enough where you don't think you're in a theater. Although
Wilbur?
Yeah, it's like 1,100,
It
1,200
creeps
seats.
me out a little.
Does it?
Yeah, that's a little muffy. Look, I could use a good cleaning.
Yeah, no, that needs a dust rag.
Yeah. Sebastian, thank you, brother.
Thanks, Tom.
Hey, that's it. Sebastian,
Thanks.
man of slaughter. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Each time that I think